So today's episode is going to be about, I guess, like mindset, change management, how to be quite adaptable with change, how to build resilience. So yes, change management, adaptability, resilience, all those sorts of things. Things I actually think you kind of love talking about. So question number one. Mm-hmm. Do you think resilience is a skill that do you think it's a skill? And B, do you think it's a skill that you can develop?
Oh, do I think?
And if so, how would one develop resilience?
See, that's 3 questions.
So answer
Let's
them
do
all.
one at a time. Do I think?
Is resilience a skill?
Do I think resilience is a skill? I wouldn't say it's a skill. I would say it's a superpower. Mm-hmm. I think if you're going to be good in sales, or an aspiring leader, and somebody who is in a role where you're going to deal with a lot of bullshit, police officer, soldier, anything where you're going to be dealing with a lot of negativity or feel like you're running against the wind, then I think the better the resilience level, then the better you'll be at that job.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's a skill. I don't think it's something you can teach on a board. A skill is something I think that you can teach something that's practical for them to do. But resilience is a mindset. Resilience is being thick-skinned. Resilience is your ability to deal with loads of bullshit at the same time and still look like nothing's happening in your life. And so the further up the ladder you go in businesses, the more the more bullshit they deal with. But the people who get paid the most are the people who have got the most resilience to deal with the most bullshit. I used to always get told that the more shit you can take, the more money you make. Guy worth $1 billion knows how to deal with $1 billion problems. Guy worth 40 grand a year knows how to deal with 40 grand a year. So that guy or gal, sorry, or person. But yeah, I don't think it's a skill, but it's definitely a superpower. I think you can't get taught resilience. You have to build resilience.
Okay.
So you can't teach yourself to be a bodybuilder. You actually have to do it.
So the second/third part of that question was, can you develop it? And if you can, how?
Yeah, by putting yourself in a role that requires you. I mean, if you went to the armed forces and done just basic training, you'd leave a more resilient person because you're put yourself in a situation where you're getting pushed back on all the time.
Yeah.
You go be a police officer for 4 years, you'll be a more resilient person. You go be a midwife for 4 years, you'll be a more resilient person. So anything where you're going to deal with a lot of adversity and negativity and problems. So I think you can learn that by putting yourself in job roles that are high pressured job roles, and I think sales is really good for that. Right, loads of people over the years come in because they come in not to do sales, but they come in to build up people skills and results. So GPs, I've had loads of people over the years come in who want to be doctors, who just deal with negativity the whole day, but need to learn how to work in high pressured environments, and they need to be good with people at the same time. So I get them coming in over the summer a lot. I've had loads of people in who wanted to be a cop, and the police actually tell them to go get a job in a bar or in sales and go do something that A, you're dealing with the public, B, you're put under pressure all the time. Yeah, they rejected my brother-in-law for about 7 years. It says you need to, anyway, I had to go work in a bar in a fast-paced environment. They're like, you don't get enough life experience. So, because when you be a police officer, you're going to go deal with a lot
That's a good point, though. You never actually, I think of it, you never actually see like young, like an 18-year-old being a police officer, do you?
Very seldom do you see it, because they want them to be, because they're going to deal with it. And the higher the level you want to operate in, the higher the level of resilience you're going to have. So my brother-in-law went for like the special cops with the guns, and he didn't qualify or go through for whatever reason, but he was saying it's another level of pressure. But when you're dealing with when you've got a gun and you're responsible for killing or not killing people and you're getting shot at, you're going to have to work in a higher amount of pressure, which means you're going to have to be more resilient and operate 100% at the same time. So I think there's definitely plenty. Sales is the only place and the only job that's that builds resilience, but it's an easy job because you can get if you have no experience anywhere in the world, you could get a sales job within 4 days of applying to sales companies. Let's be honest, if you're willing to go work for commission only in sales, no, you get a job pretty quickly. So you can go work in sales for 6 weeks and build up resilience.
Yeah, 100%. And what about for those people then who, because there might be some people watching who have a job and have a career that they're doing that they love, and they're on kind of a path and a track for their career. So going to work in sales isn't an option. Is there ways that you can incorporate things in your daily life to help to build resilience?
Go to the gym. All the stuff I do, we go to the gym. My trainer always laughs at me. I mean, I probably talk about this a lot, but a big part of me going to the gym is to build up, I think I've done Instagram posting this, is to build up values that help me in work. If I can if I can put my body under an immense amount of stress, that builds resilience. So staying in the sauna longer, as soon as it gets easier, I stay longer. Yeah, I'm up to doing 40 to 50 minutes in a sauna at 90, 100 degree heat because I'm putting my body under stress because it builds up, it's called heat stress, and it builds up resilience, which is why when I go somewhere like Dubai in July, it doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
Because I've been in high heat. So go to the gym. I think go to the gym more than anything in the whole entire world, like in your ability to push yourself builds up resilience, discipline and focus that's applicable to your day-to-day life. So if I want to get better at business, I'll go drive myself nuts in the gym. And that builds up like your stress bucket, makes it bigger, helps you focus, helps you build up resilience. Because resilience has been able to deal with stress and pain while still getting everything at the same time. With a smile on your face.
So you talk there about training, and that's one way to kind of build resilience. What about training your mind then to stay focused and stay, I don't know if positive's the word, but stay kind of on track, especially during tougher times?
It goes back to having a reason for doing it. For me, I like the challenge and I like the pain, but I think staying focused and staying positive when things aren't good is giving yourself a reason to do so. So sometimes I'm pushing myself and getting resilience because I want to help myself professionally. Sometimes it's a physical thing, sometimes it's a longevity thing, and I just want to live a bit. So I think feeling pain while staying focused and not quitting and feeling positive is easy, and we've spoken about this before if you've got a reason for doing it. And the bigger the reason, the less the pain feels. But if you just feel pain with no real reason for feeling the pain, why would you do it?
Yeah.
Does that answer the question?
I think that answers the question.
So you stay
perfectly.
focused because you remind yourself of why you're doing it in the first place, and you stay positive because you're doing it to help yourself. So why would you not be positive?
Yeah.
I'm not doing it to punish myself. I'm doing it to make myself better. And so when you force yourself to do something, and sorry, we're going to go a wee bit maybe off here. When you do something that requires effort, whereas let's just say physically, right? When you do anything, it doesn't have to be physical. When you challenge yourself like mentally to do like a puzzle, and it's really difficult, but you stay focused and you're positive, you actually get a buzz for it, especially when you complete it. It's like winning a fucking race.
Yeah.
You get a dopamine kick because your body rewards you for putting up with that resilience and doing it with a good attitude and being. So once you start to do things like that a couple of times, you'll get addicted to the kick. Like I get when I don't train or challenge myself during the day, I don't get depressed. But I'm not the same me.
Yeah.
When I take a day off training or I'm not working, sometimes I catch myself, on a Sunday especially, I get quite lethargic, and I can actually feel a difference in how I feel because I've done nothing challenging that day. For me, I think it's more because I do so many things that are challenged professionally and personally every single day that I get used to that dopamine. So when I don't get that dopamine, I'm like, I need to go, I need to do something. I get quite antsy because my body's used to getting these dopamine rewards all the time. So, but once you get the dopamine rewards, you get addicted to it. And therefore you always want to push yourself because you know you get a good buzz at the end of it, and you become a better version of yourself every time. You can be more resilient. As long as you can stay focused and positive, because if you do it where you get distracted, it won't work out that way. And if you do it with a bad attitude, you won't get the dopamine kick at the end of it. You get the different feeling, which is, oh, I'm glad that's done. Well, no, that was good. So funny how people can get in a gym, no matter how they feel, but you'll see some people leave the gym and go, that was a nightmare, don't go back. Some people leave buzzing.
Yeah.
That's the effect that it has on you. But that's again, you don't have to go to a gym. You could get up and, set a goal, go through a book and mentally challenge yourself to read a book and stay focused reading the book that day and not leave until you do it. You would get the same dopamine at the end of reading that book. It would build up resilience. It would help you be focused. And if you do it with a good attitude, you get the same kick at the end of finishing the book.
Yeah. So one word I left off of that when I talked about, staying focused and feeling positive, especially during those tougher times, one word I purposely left off of that list was motivated. So how do you feel like motivation plays into this through those tougher times?
It depends on what way you think about motivation. Motivation for me is determination. Motivation is the obsession of hitting something and accomplishing something. It's not skipping about like a wee fairy or fairy if you're not Scottish and you don't understand the language. But you have to be motivated. You don't have to be happy. And this was where the mistake with motivation comes into play. Like I've been highly motivated all week. to get shit done, but I've not been happy the whole week. I've been upset since last week. I don't feel like we've accomplished. I didn't hit one goal. It's the first year in 6 years I've not smashed loads of goals, right? Not for the one I trying or whatever, right? So I wouldn't call me. I wouldn't say I've been a happy person, but that's my motivation, is my determination not to let it happen twice. So I think motivation, as long as you look at it in the sense of, it's not about being happy and it's not about being excited. A highly motivated person could be angry, frustrated. That's a highly motivated person. It's someone who's on a mission to complete a task.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think, but that comes back to setting the goals and doing it. So motivation does do it, but don't mistake motivation for happiness and excitement and enthusiasm, because sometimes I'm the most unenthusiastic person in the world, but I'm the most motivated motherfucker you know, because I'm just determined to get something done. That's it. You say sometimes I'm better when I'm pissed off. So I think you can be angry and motivated, but the reason I don't hate the word motivation, I hate that most people think motivation is enthusiasm and happy, and that's not true.
So it's more like grit and determination and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you can be excited, motivated. You can also be angry and motivated. And a lot of the time I'm not happy motivated. I'm angry, frustrated, motivated. My best motivation and the time when I'm my best is when I'm pissed off. I tend to get more stuff done there.
Yeah.
I'm highly motivated.
We had a big celebration day, you could say, on Saturday. And in the car on the way back, we were both just so annoyed.
Negative.
Yeah.
It's quite a negative
Just
conversation.
because we aren't where we wanted to be at the end of this year.
Yep.
But I think that's really good in a sense, because we're like, okay, it's like giving extra fuel to the fire for, let's give it everything and prove a point next year, and let's make it even better than bigger and better and do bigger and better things than we thought we would have or could have anyway to make that point. So I think we're not motivated in the sense of we're so excited and, as you said, skipping about, but we're motivated in the sense of we've got like a point to prove now.
Quite the opposite. I'm not happy and excited
Yeah.
and all that. But it's funny actually when you mentioned there about a point to prove, a little bit, just to make this clear, the only point we've got to prove is to ourselves. I don't care what anybody else thinks.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, we still crush most people, like to be fair, when you know, pound for pound and things we do, and work ethic and learning and all this kind of stuff, like, but
I think it's because we've set standards for ourselves, so we want to hit those standards for ourselves.
It's the first year in a few years I've finished pissed off at something I could control. I've been getting dopamine kicks and finishing and celebrating and happy and excited, and now I know this is the first year in years where I've felt, again, my control, because there was things that we couldn't control before, so you can't get upset about things you can't control, right, which was lockdown, pandemic and energy crisis. So there's been some years we finished that sucked. It just happened to fall in that. But this year we were in complete control. We had nothing bad happen out with our control. And it's more the lack of the dopamine kick I win, and it's more the lack of knowing the self-accomplishment at the end of the year and feeling that when I finish where I don't have any that. So it's more motivation never to feel this shit again, because that's a waste of a year in my head.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, it's not been a waste of a year. We've had some good stuff happening, but I think, like you say, it's because we hold ourselves to such high standards. Like, if somebody was to look out and look in and go look at all the stuff we've done this year and how we've moved forward and where businesses went and looked at money, etc., it looks good. But because we've held ourselves to such a high standard, to us, it's not been good.
Yeah. No, I agree. So what would your advice be to someone who is in a space right now where they're feeling they constantly have to deal with failure or rejection, or they feel like they can't, and this is a saying we hear all the time. We always hear sales reps say, I can't catch a break. What would your advice be to those people who just can't catch a break?
You never catch a break. Stop believing in luck. Anybody says I can't catch a break believes in luck. You believe that things are and that's all right. That's your beliefs. I don't believe in luck. If I win the lottery, it's because I put the fucking ticket on. Now, even if I walked in a street and a lottery ticket falls into my hand and I catch it nicely in my hand and I win 50 mil, if I decided to throw it in the bin or not walk down that street, so again, for me, it's not luck. I just so happened to be in the right time at the right place and take advantage of a situation. So you got to make your own breaks. You won't catch a break. I don't believe it. I don't know anybody that caught a break. I don't know. It's that guy caught a break. He invested in crypto and became a millionaire. He never caught a break. He invested in crypto. How much did you invest in crypto?
Yeah.
Nothing. So he's not lucky. He just took action. I think there's a big difference.
Decision.
Yeah, he made a decision, and there's every action has a reaction. But if you don't take the action, you'll never have the reaction. That's just not. Yeah. So I'm not for that catch a break crap. I don't think you ever can. I think sales teaches you that as well, though. You don't catch a break. You make your breaks. You make your own luck.
So what's your advice then to someone who is going through that phase now, who is struggling or is feeling like there's a lot of things going against them now? What's your advice to them?
My honest answer? Fucking suck it up. It's life. If you can control it, fix it. Don't make the same. Once is a mistake, twice is a choice. So if something's happened to you for the second time and you could have controlled it, that's your fault, not the world's.
Yeah.
If you can't control it, that's just life. Suck it up. If you don't, if you're blaming the government, if you're blaming taxes, then move. If you blame weather, then move. People always come. See when people complain about the weather, I'm like, move. No, I'm like, shut up complaining. Then just if you can control it, and if you can't, shut up. That's it. It's just life. Sky's blue, grass is green, water's wet, and shit happens.
So you love that saying.
I do. Seen it in a movie many years ago, and it just what I tell myself. When shit happens, I'm like, that's life. We move. I'm still alive. I have 4 limbs. I'm breathing. I have a roof. I can eat. It's not that fucking bad. Get over it. Like, what's the worst thing that can happen to you is you're dead. So see, as long as that's not happening, you're all right.
You're good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there will be people who have feeling like they keep hitting that wall and they just keep running at a wall and the wall's not moving. And when is it time to sit yourself down and think, do I keep going? Or when is it time to admit that you need to pivot and need to change and need to kind of try a different
Why don't you try going round the wall or over the wall? Find a ladder.
So when do you decide that that's the point? Yeah.
Find something. Well, the point is, go be resourceful and find ways of dealing with it. That's the point. That's it. You have to pivot and change. You don't pivot and change the goal. You pivot and change the action. You don't. I don't ever change my destination. I never change the goal. I change the way I get to the goal because maybe the actions that I feel like I'm taking. Let's just take training for instance. I've been trying to get to a certain shape and certain body fat, and we're just not done against something else I never done this year. For love nor money, we've tried different things. It's not for lack of effort. We just need to keep trying different angles until it clicks and we get the right formula of training, rest, calories, time frames when I'm eating, sleep, lack of stress, like all this kind of stuff. There's so many things contribute towards it, but we keep trying things until we get it. I never stop. I never hit the goal here, but it doesn't mean I change the goal.
Yeah.
It just means that the goal's going to take me longer to hit because the angle I thought I had to go to accomplish it's just not the angle.
Yeah.
Again, as long as I'm still breathing then.
So then what would you say to somebody who, we've been talking about, having this goal and staying motivated and staying persistent and staying kind of really focused on what you're working towards, having this resilience. I think we often talk about when you are working to something, it is really important to become obsessed.
Yep.
We talk a lot about being obsessed with what you're trying to achieve. But how do you balance that obsession and yourself? I'm weary to say the word burnt out because I know you don't like that or necessarily believe in that, but how do you balance being so obsessed with what you're trying to achieve but not to your own detriment of your own health or yourself?
Probably not going to get there. You need to be at your own detriment of your own health sometimes. Living proof of it right now. Sometimes you have to. Remember we talked before about scales, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes to accomplish stuff, you have to really be unbalanced,
Yeah.
not balanced. Balance doesn't get you anywhere. Being unbalanced, and I don't believe in burnout. You definitely will get tired and run yourself into the ground, but I'll keep doing it. As long as I'm not dead, I'm all right. I think try to be obsessed and get something done with it, the detriment to something else given in is pretty difficult. It's not, something's going to have to give in. I read an interesting thing yesterday, and it was the co-founder of Sugar. Who was this dude? Some techie had just sold his business, and he was talking about his biggest accomplishment in life wasn't business. It's the fact that he managed to stay married to the same woman throughout his whole career. He says because so many entrepreneurs are on their seventh company with their seventh wife. Point being, because you're so obsessed with one thing, something else gives, and the relationships usually give. So I think there's got to be give and take. You've got to make sure it's balanced so the scales don't tap. So relationship, really obsessed by it. Relationship, I don't see anybody at all. Eventually the scales will tip and that person will leave me and that will hurt me. But to say the word balance means equal. So it's not balanced, it's still imbalanced, but not imbalanced enough where something gives. So it's not imbalanced to the point where I don't get any sleep and I end up psychotic because I've not slept enough or I've not ate any food or I end up sick. But I'm definitely going to push myself to the brink of sickness. And I'm going to find out where that wee spot is, and when I go to feel like that, I know I have to rest and bring it back again. It's like scales tipping. You push yourself and 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 push yourself until you recognise when it's going to be too much and the scales flip over. Because when the scales flip, everything's fucked. So it's not about balance in the sense of it's equally balanced, it's balanced in the sense of the scales haven't tipped. So I get really obsessed about a person, I start getting obsessed with them, my career goes down because I'm in love with this person. I want to stay at home later, I want to go home early, I want to call them all day and get distracted. That will happen. But if you do that too much, your career will get the window because it will be too imbalanced, right? You won't get the promotion or whatever. On the flip side of that, you find a job with this person, you're not as obsessed with them anymore, and then you start to get obsessed about your job, you can ruin the relationship. So it's just knowing where those points are for you and where breaking point is and pushing myself to breaking point, and then I can dance on that line. When it goes to go over, I have to take a breath. There's been plenty of times where I've ran myself on the ground and I needed 3 days off or I needed a mental break or whatever. So that's fine because you can tip yourself over the edge. But I still wouldn't call that burnout. I'm not burnout, I've just overdone it.
No, but I think I think sometimes that's when your habits and things can also kind of kick in, because there's been times where I've worked with you and I think I've said to you a couple of times, like, your soul has gone behind your eyes.
Dead.
There's nothing behind the eyes. But, you know, there was things that you needed to achieve before you felt you could fully take a break, but that's where you relied on, like, your habits to get you where you needed to be, and that's when you relied on all these other things that you've put in place in your life. To get you to that place where you needed to get to before you could take a break. Yeah,
you got autopilot because you've got such good routines and habits, right? No, I agree. Sometimes you can't help but get up and just do what you do because it's just what you do. Someone says to me the other day, something about being in the office late. I don't even know what it was. And I'm like, it's just what I do. The fuck else am I going to do? I can't help it. I can't help but get up and work. I can't help but get up and want to do something. We got a 9-day break and I've already planned the 9 days of work. It's a break for current work and what makes me money, but I'm going to go away and do something. Being in the office every day, I'm going to create an source of income. 9 days off, I'm like, okay, what can I do with that time that actually adds value to my life? I'll rest. I'll sit about in like a pair of shorts most of the time and chill, but that's my version of rest.
Whoa, he's going crazy this
My
Christmas.
rest is not putting a suit on and going to an office. That's my chill. If I'm not got a suit on and going to an office, that's me chilling. I was laughing with you earlier. We were talking about the break and all these things that you're going to do over the break. And I was saying maybe you'd take Christmas Day off, but even then you'll probably still be thinking about... Is it sad that I've planned a run for Christmas Day?
No, I don't think that's sad.
I'm going for a jog.
I think that's quite a lot. I see online quite a lot of people do runs on Christmas Day because it's like a day of... It's quite a lethargic day in general, isn't it? Yeah,
I'm going for a run before Christmas dinner.
Yeah.
Make sure I deserve my dinner. I'm going to go out on my dinner, so I'll scoff. And my mother-in-law makes cheesecake that I can't say no to.
Oh my goodness.
I eat sugar. I probably have to go for a run after it as well.
Yeah, multiple runs that day.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to chilling. But again, my version of chilling is my phone will be off. I won't do nothing too strenuous, but I'm still going to work.
Yeah.
I can't help it. What else you got to do?
Yeah. Hang out with your wife and kids.
Oh, well, but the kids will have plans and that shit.
Yeah. You want to hang out with them, they won't want to hang out with you.
It's not for one of trying.
So
the kids, try to get my kids to do it. The older they get, they're like, they've got plans. You're like, oh, what are we doing this weekend? I'm out all day. Dad, I've got plans. I've got to bring ahead my friends. I'm like,
you enjoy yourself.
Breahead's a shopping centre if you're not from Glasgow, right?
So another thing I wanted us to talk about today, and I think it's been quite apt of some stuff that we've been dealing with recently, but I think something that happens in life, not just in sales, not just entrepreneurship, is change. Change happens a lot. And I think you hear people talk a lot about change management, how you manage yourself through the change, how you manage other people through the change. A lot of change that happens is out of our control. For sales reps, it could be, a change of campaign, or for business owners, it could be a change to a client situation that then affects your business or whatever. There's lots of things that are out of our control. What is your mindset towards change, especially change that you can't control?
Adapt or die is the first thing that comes to my mind. I used to always have that. I'm really fortunate. My first sales role, we changed products every 10 days, but we didn't just change one product. We sold 4 products, and all those 4 products, for the most part, every 10 days would change. So I got very good at adapting and changing. Obviously, I had my systems and my structure that I used, but small, slight changes I had to change. Sales teaches you to change who you are in front of people. If I'm in corporate world, I can speak corporate world. If I'm in the slums, I can speak some. But I can go for one person to the next in sales. Sales teaches you that. So I think I'm good with change management, because the career I chose, forced change management, wasn't the same. But it's also the reason why I like sales, was every day wasn't the same. Every day was a new adventure. You never spoke to the same person twice. Like, it was just loads of. So I had to, you had to learn how to think on your feet and adapt. So I'm quite fortunate. So when change happens, I'm like, all right, whatever. It's fine. We can be gone down that way, and you're like, oh, we have to go that. All right, let's just change the whole thing. Some people really struggle with change. Some people really struggle. Again, control or not control. Is it something I could have controlled, learn the lesson, so I don't put myself in a position where I have to change the angle? If I can't control it, that's just life. If all of a sudden let's just take lockdown, right? They caught us with lockdown, and we couldn't operate. So my one source of income wasn't income for lockdown. I made no money. In fact, lost loads of money.
Lost a lot of money.
And again, could I have controlled that? No. Could I control putting something in place to make sure that would never happen to me again? 100% yes. I have a whole new source of income that I could do full time if they ever do that to us again. So again, and I had to go learn a whole nother industry because of that. So again, can I control this? Can I not control it? All right, I can't control what happened, but I can control what kind of situation I'm in for the next time it happens. And that's why I got involved with the digital world, because you're not catch me twice. You don't catch me with the same punch twice. Not stupid.
I think if it's something that's beyond your control, and if it's something that you cannot control, you just have to accept it really quickly. The longer you fight it, the more painful the journey is going to be.
Adapt or die.
Yeah.
If people don't adapt into the AI world, you're going to die. I don't know what I mean, like, you're physically going to die. Your career is going to die.
Yeah.
They reckon there's 85 million jobs worldwide going to be lost in the next 5 years.
That's insane.
AI. We're advertising for a Replo page builder. So if you watch this and you know anybody that's a Replo page builder, I need someone in any country in the world now. And I found this. So we're advertising in Lebanon, right? So I got to this job website in Lebanon, and I put in the job title. Wrote the ad for me.
All job boards do that now. Indeed, most big
I
job
didn't
boards
know that.
do that for you now. Yeah, LinkedIn does it.
But whoever writes job ads, their job's gone. If somebody's got a job writing job ads, you're done.
Yeah.
You're jobless.
I don't think I've written a job ad for a year and a half between job boards doing it for you.
So you're saying is you should have been jobless for the past year.
Thank God we've got this
So
podcast.
those great ads for AI, is that it?
Or Chat GPT, they'll do it for you.
That's the best. And again, and if you think about 5 years ago, how little amount of AI there was to now, and imagine what it'll be like in the next 5 years. It's like automation is the way forward. There's a boxing match this weekend with Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk, and it'll be refereed by AI on top of the normal AIs to make sure it's scored fairly. Yep, I'm going to give AI watching it and counting punches.
Oh my goodness.
Yep, here's where we're at.
That's so high tech.
Again, that's an adapt or die situation, right? You can fight it all you want, or you can embrace it, because with or without your blessing, it's happening.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Yeah.
What are you going to do? You just got to roll with the punches and make the best out of the situation that you're in. That's it. So you're right. If you can't control it, just accept it, move on, make the changes that you have to make. Again, if your goal's big enough, you don't care. to get the things I want in life, I don't care how many times I have to change who I am as a person. I don't care how many industries I have to learn, like whatever. Like if our industry disappeared tomorrow and I had to go retrain, I'm cool with that. Good at it. I'll go learn something completely different. If I take all the same principles and all the same habits, I'll get good at it. We'll start a company in it. We'll build a company. There's a million ways to get things done, right?
Yeah.
But again, I think people who always win, or they people you say always seem to get things seem to go their way. It's not they seem to go their way. They make them go their way because they're willing to change things a million times. They're willing to change the angle. They're willing to change who they are. They're willing to change careers to try and figure out how they get to that destination.
That end point.
My director used to say it to me all the time. My first coach used to always say, "Adapt or die."
Yeah, I think
long before AI was out.
Oh, yeah, but there's always been something. It was like years and years ago was the invention of the internet, and like so there's always
true.
something.
They would have had these conversations.
Yeah, there's
not
always
podcasts then, but
there's always something. So I think with change comes a lot of uncertainty. Then,
yeah, of course, it's the fear of the unknown that scares people. It's not change.
so
You're
how
right.
do you deal with that?
With what?
Well, as you put it, the fear of the unknown.
Get excited about the adventure. Might not work out. Yep. I might die. Yep. You might die anyway. Might not work out. Whatever you're doing might not work out anyway. An industry can shut overnight. Company can go overnight. The world can go overnight. Like it's just change of perspective. A change, right?
Yeah.
Change for me is a little adventure. You know, sometimes the unknown's quite cool. You don't know what's going to happen. You just go for it. No idea what's going to happen at the end. So I just change your perspective on change being a bad thing and starting to look at it like a wee adventure. Well, I guess you'd really screw up. You're like, yep, that's exciting, but there's only one way to find out if it's going to screw up or not. Just go for it.
Yeah. So how about then from a leader's perspective when you're leading a team or you run the company or you run a sales team or whatever, how do you, I guess, help your team adapt to change?
How do you help your team adapt to change? I'll say man manage, but I mean person manage, all right? So I'm not saying all right, like you'd get upset at it, but person by person, because people's change management capabilities are very different. There's definitely people I work with who I go, okay, we're not selling for this client today, we're selling for this client. They go, okay, let's go. And there's other people who you can see inside, like there's a nuclear meltdown in a little brain, and it's going to take that person 2 weeks to do it, and they'll have anxiety, and again, people's capabilities have been able to handle that anxiety and that change management are very different. So I think you just have to spend time with your people and manage everybody different, and don't try and manage everybody the same. Don't try and manage a group going through a change. You got to divide and conquer, because everybody in your group, and the bigger the group, the more diverse your group will be. So everybody's going to be quite different. And just also as a leader, accept that some people aren't going to, everybody's not you. Like we went, let's just say I don't know if we get like shadow banned for saying the word lockdown, who knows. But remember, we went from being able to do face-to-face sales to having to get into a call centre in a day. She can't go to people's homes. We ended up wanting a call centre, never been a call centre before. Then we get kicked to the call centre and told to go home. Then we had to create a business where we were doing cold calling from home during lockdown, and these all happened within 24 hours of each other. And there was people that definitely had mental meltdowns about this, but we were just like, all right. So just remember that because you're all right with change doesn't mean that the guy next to you or the girl next to you is good with change. They might be good with change, but it might take them 3 weeks to wrap their head around the change when it takes you 3 seconds. So if you're managing a team of people, just understand that everybody's not you and everybody's not each other. And a bad leader will say things like, why are you not getting on board with this? Because the rest of the team are but it's because that person's not. Takes a little bit longer to process it and go through the change management. That's all. I've just recognised that there's some people take a week to wrap their head around something that someone else will wrap their head around in a minute.
So I think a thing to add to that as well is, I think I briefly said earlier, there's been things in the last couple of weeks that could have resulted in some changes for us. And I think I said this to you at the time, that how other people will deal with it is very dependent on the person kind of steering the ship. So whenever the changes happen, I always see your reaction as not a problem, let's go for it, and you don't even bat an eyelid, and So that I think fills a team with a lot of reassurance. But
Called duck theory because sometimes in head I'm like,
yeah, but then
don't know what's happening.
there's some other people, and I know these were conversations that we had. There are some other people who are leading teams, and we don't know how they would deal with the change themselves, and that's infectious to the people that they're around. So I think it's just also being very aware of like the language that you're using and your reactions of what, again, it's like leading by example. If you want it to be not a big deal to your team, you need to be the person that acts like that.
Yeah, if you're a leader, you got to make a leader's job's to make order out of chaos, right? That's when people's true colours as a leader is shown. I feel like I show my worth when things are bad. When things are good, high five, encourage people, tell them how wonderful they are. I mean, I says to someone this morning at breakfast, I'm like, stop calling me when things are good and ignore me when things are bad. I'm like, I can't help you when things are good. My job as your leader is to help you get better. I help you get better when shit's hitting the fan. I don't help you get better when things are good. You want a high five? I'm like, I don't like, it's a complete waste of your time and my time us talking when things are good. I want to talk to you when things are good. I want to talk to you when things are bad, because that's when I show you my value. My value comes out when the shit hits the fan. So that's why statistically, when things go bad, sometimes I get a wee kick because I'm like, oh, now I can work. Now I can show why I'm in charge. Now I can show why I'm the leader. Now I can show why I can come on in these podcasts and talk about leadership. Now I can prove it. When things are good, sometimes the leaders don't get to shine. When do you know if the leader of your country or your generals in the army are good? When you go to war. There's an old saying, actually, that the great generals are made in time of war, not peace. Because that's when you find out who the good generals are, right?
Yeah, what they're made of.
That's when we find out what we're all made of. You go to war, and war in business is when change happens or your industry goes upside down. For us, remember that when Russia invaded Ukraine and there was an energy crisis, our whole business got shut in minutes because we had everybody selling energy. Minutes, done. Not even a conversation, just nobody sells energy anymore. Oh shit, what do we do? Let's find some stuff to sell. Like, you got to debit it. I can't go to Vladimir Putin and Zelensky and ask them to fix our problems so that our guys can go sell it. I cannot control it. So I get excited. I don't get excited for everybody because their lives are going to be easy, and I don't get excited because I enjoy it. I'll probably do a little bit. I get excited again because it's time as a leader. That's when leaders step in. When things are screwed, you see your leader's worth.
Yeah, 100%. So I think a place to end today. We've always been talking about resilience and staying focused, and we're talking about kind of change management and things like that. I guess the place I wanted to end is, where do you feel like in your entrepreneurial journey, what's the area do you think you've grown the most in, and what's the area that you think has, out of all of those sorts of things, has made the biggest difference to your career?
Resilience. My ability to deal with hundreds of bullshit at the same time whilst looking like I'm not really doing that much is probably my superpower. Sometimes wish I could. My wife always says if people really knew what was going on, most people would never want your job, because it's the amount of bullshit in my personal and professional life that I deal with. So my capacity to do that whilst functioning like nothing's wrong, I think is my superpower. I think that's the biggest thing I've learned in entrepreneurship. Being able to eat broken glass whilst looking like I'm eating fucking dairy milk chocolate somehow.
Yeah.
So that's going through shit that does that to you, and maybe looking like you're going through the shit. So I wasn't naturally like that, but that's what entrepreneurship does to you, right? It just, but I also understand that the better I am at dealing with that, the more money I'll get paid, because the more problems and the bigger the problems I can deal with while still operating and being able to control the ship, as you say, or captain the ship in the right direction with a smile on my face, and I should get more money for that. So that's the way I look at entrepreneurship.
Beautiful. Any final words on that?
Yeah, bye.
Is that it? Well, thanks. Hopefully that's helped some people.
Go join a fighting gym and get punched in the face a lot if you want to build more resistance.